Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over one of our theorems in our similar triangles. Okay, and this is from lesson 7.5, which talks about proportions in triangles. Okay, so specifically in this video, I'm going to go over what's called the Triangle-Angle-Bisector theorem. So in this theorem, you could see in the picture here, okay, we have two congruent baby angles right here. Okay, our angle V is. So the theorem says if a ray bisects an angle, so we know if something is bisecting it, it's cutting it in half. That's why we have these two congruent marks right here. So if a ray bisects an angle of a triangle, then it divides the opposite side into two segments that are proportional to the other two sides of the triangle. Okay. So let me kind of explain what that means a little bit. When we have this ray bisecting angle V, what it does is it creates two little segments on the bottom here. It cuts that side into two parts. So I'm going to call those A and B. So those two parts make a ratio, a fraction, which is proportional, which means it's equal to the length of the two sides of the triangle. So that would mean I'll call this C and D, for example. Okay, so the two sides that get cut by the bisector are proportional to the two other side lengths of the triangle. So A over B is equal to C over D. Okay, so let's put this in an example so you can see how it works. Okay, so here we have a triangle, and I know that this angle here is getting bisected because they mark those two angles congruent. So we can apply this theorem where we set up a proportion. This theorem says this ray cuts that side into two parts. So the parts here would be X and 9. So those sides form a proportion with the two other sides of the triangle. Now, when you set up your second fraction, just make sure to go in the same order that you did the first. I did X first, so I have to do 16 when I set up the second one. Okay. 9 is on the bottom from the second part of the triangle, so we have to go 12 on the bottom. So X over 9 is equal to 16 over 12. Okay. Now to solve for X, we do what we've been doing in class, and we do our cross multiplying. So X times 12 is 12X. I set that equal to 16 times 9, which is 144. Okay. From there, then it's a quick solving. Just going to divide the 12 out. 144 divided by 12 is 12. So that's how we apply the Triangle-Angle-Bisector theorem. Okay, so let's do another one. This one will be a little longer because you see we have an X minus 2. So our solving will take a couple more steps, but I'm going to start by setting up my proportions. So when this angle gets bisected by a ray, it cuts the bottom pieces, okay, into a ratio. So X minus 2 goes over 8. And we make the fraction using the other two sides of the triangle. So X over 2 goes with 5. So we're going to do 5 over 10. So again, just make sure you stay in the same order when you make your second fraction. Okay, so same thing, we're going to cross multiply this, but just make sure when we do 10 times X minus 2, we distribute that. Okay, and then I'll set that equal to 8 times 5, which is 40. Okay, so to finish up our solving here, I'm going to distribute the 10. 10x minus 20 is equal to 40. And the rest of this is just our normal algebra. I'm going to add the 20 to both sides. So we get 10x equal to 60. So then to solve for x, divide out the 10. So on this question, x is 6. Done. Okay. So again, you set up your ratio using the bottom and the bottom, side over side. Okay. So try this last one. Okay. You have triangle CAB, and we know that this angle A is getting bisected. So use that to set up your ratio and solve for x. Okay. If you did it correctly, here's what your setup should be looking like. Okay, we would take the two bottom sides, x and 2, and we would set up our proportion with the two side lengths, x plus 1 over 3. Okay, so if you solve this correctly, you should have gotten that x is equal to 2. Okay, so that is our triangle angle bisector theorem.